What's up, y'all? And welcome back to another episode of What Y'all Talking About. And today's topic, y'all, is from one end of the spectrum to the other end, but let's get into the video. So, y'all, if you have been under a rock these past couple of hours, you know that the historic Roe versus Wade ruling has now been overturned, and we no longer have that in effect. Roe versus Wade was basically a ruling put into place to protect the freedoms and the rights of pregnant women in the United States that wanted to have an abortion. And it started with Norma McCorvey, better known by her fictitious name, Jane Roe, that filed a lawsuit against Texas and won in her favor because she wanted to have an abortion, but in Texas at the time it was illegal. And then that lawsuit was appealed and went to the Supreme Court, where they made this decision, Roe versus Wade, to where there were rights and things and freedoms that women had to make the choice if they wanted to do abortion or not. Although there was a little, loopholes and things like that in there, but for the most part, it was done. And here now today is a day in history that many of us, women in particular, will never forget. It is no longer in place. Now states have the right on their own to ban abortion or have rights in certain instances to protect it. And there's already like half the states, I think when I was looking earlier, it was like 25 or 26 states that have already said that they are planning to or already have a plan in place that is going to be banning women from getting abortions. And this affects us in many, many ways, because we already know that there are medical issues that women have that can cause death of the fetus or death of themselves if they carry to full term, and medical necessity abortions are now a thing of the past. I just literally saw where Planned Parenthood in Arkansas canceled every single abortion appointment, every single one of them. And this was just overturned a few hours ago. And now, for whatever reason that those women, young and old, were planning to have abortions, it's no longer available, which puts those women who don't have the financial backing or the financial means to go somewhere else where it is not illegal to get the abortion, have to sit and deal with the pregnancy, have to sit and deal with the weighing the options of, is this going to kill me? Is this going to kill my baby? Is this going to affect me long term? It's so many ins and outs, and just different areas in which this overturning has now caused so many problems, so many issues that this overturning of Roe versus Wade has now caused, me included, because I know of women who have had to have medically necessary, I guess that's how you say it, abortions, because the doctor have told them, if you don't do this, this could kill you. If you don't do this, and you carry this baby to full term, your baby's gonna be stillborn. If you don't do this, you're going to miscarry, because there's things, that are going to happen if you allow this pregnancy to go on. And though these decisions are based on, medical necessity, there are also abortions that have been based off of trauma, things like incest, things like rape, that women and young women, young girls have had to endure, and they now have to deal with that. They have to sit with that. And I know that there are instances where women who have been raped, or young girls that have been raped, have carried their baby to full term and raised them on their own, and love their child the same. But there are still those who don't even want to think of having to be reminded constantly of those type of that trauma by looking at a child, or having to carry their baby full term and then giving it up to adoption or foster care systems that is not 100% safe. It's a messed up system all the way around, trust me. And now, there's been talks about, people saying, it's all about the kids. It's all about the kids. At conception, they have a heartbeat. At conception, these are babies and you're killing them. You need to have them. You need to raise them in the same economy where parents out here don't have enough money to buy diapers, buy food, let alone pay for school and health insurance and daycares and things like that. And it's just like, at the end of the day, it's not about the children. It's about control. It's about power. And that's why it's very necessary that we, and myself included, do our research and vote to get people that have been sitting in the place of power, that make the decisions for us, that do not affect them at all, so that we can bring about a change in this world. I know for a fact that for myself, I'm a cancer survivor. Had I decided not to take the medicine that I am currently on, and I ended up conceiving a child, and the doctor could possibly have told me, if you go through with this, it's a chance your cancer can come back. It's a chance that something could happen and you could die during childbirth, or there's a chance that something could go wrong, with anything, and we need you to make the decision on whether you want to have this child or not. At the end of the day, it is my choice, because it's my body. I know that there are people who are, pro-lifers, and like, it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what it is, you need to have this child. Abortion is wrong. I am pro-choice. I say that though I am a Christian and I believe in Jesus Christ, I also believe that for what we deem necessary to do for our health, for our sanity, we should be able to do that, and that be our business. And for me, if I had to do that because I wanted to live, trust and believe that's something that I would do, and that's something that I have to deal with on myself. Now, I know that there are women who have, just been out here willy-nilly having sex with everybody and unprotected, and, oh, I'm pregnant now, I don't want no more kids, or I don't want no kids at all, let me just go down to the clinic. Those using that type of, using those type of reasonings, I see why people can be like, no, like, that's trash behavior, like, don't do that. But at the end of the day, it's still their choice. And because this has been overturned, I know that there is other things like the right to marry whoever you want to, like gay marriage, just all, those type of things. I know that they're going to, like LGBTQ plus rights and things like that. They're going to be looking into those and overturning them as well. And I know that people say, well, it's because I've been reading today that Trump had there's 3 people who worked alongside Trump or something of that nature that are worked with the Supreme Court, and basically like we're pushing this agenda to overturn Roe versus Wade. And this was, everybody who voted for Trump, this was his doing, and all this. But this has been in the talks for a while, so I won't say that I agree with that, but I do know that it does have a lot to do with the Republican Party. It does. And it, again, as I'm going to continue to keep saying, it has a lot to do with power and control, to the point where we all know that there are men that sit in those places that, like I said, nothing that they are voting for affects them per se. It, like I said, it trickles down to us, and we have to deal with that. And I'm just thinking about the things that our children and nieces and nephews and all those things are going to have to start dealing, you know what I'm saying, are going to have to deal with later on down the line, once people get into a position to where they can just start throwing things out the window, and we're left back at square one. And I'm just like, what the heck is going on? I never thought that I would see the day that men could tell women, you know, statewide, what they cannot do and what they can do with their bodies. And it's going to cause, again, even more trouble, because, as I've stated previously, they're not going to have women that are, you know, low income or middle class that can't afford to go to the travel and go to the states to get legal abortions, are going to have to succumb to underground, you know, abortions and things like that, that can cause even more issues, death, infection. Just to think about it just makes me sick to my stomach. And I know that I have seen something about, you know, just pushing for abortion pills and, you know, day after pills and things like that. But I feel like even with, like I just said, the rights of gay marriage and the rights of the LGBTQ plus community and things like that, like, they're gonna try to control who can and who cannot have contraceptives and all of this type of stuff. And it's just like, this is America. It's supposed to be free, you know, it's supposed to be the land of the free. It's supposed to be, you know, a place where people come and thrive and live. But there are so many people, so many things that have already been put in place years and years ago that still affect us to this day. And again, if we don't do what we're supposed to do to vote and do our research and come up with plans to do right by people, we're gonna see us go backwards years and years. And it's just sad. It's just frustrating. It's just horrible that, as a woman, and even as a black woman, who we already have to deal with so much, but even our mortality rate during childbirth can quickly, or may quickly, skyrocket due to the fact that we're forced to carry children now full term. I know that the map that I saw of the states that have already banned abortion, every single southern state, including Kentucky, where I live. Some other ones that I saw were, like, I think Ohio and Iowa, Wisconsin. What was another one, y'all? I want to say Denver, but I don't know. But they're all different types online, so y'all can Google it. But yeah, they've already got the action plan in place. They couldn't wait. And now there are women all over the world who have to sit and deal with the fact that they don't have a choice to do what they want to do or deem necessary for themselves. And somebody with a black robe can tell them what they can and cannot do. Like, we have more freedoms over guns than we do over our own bodies, and we're human beings. So that says a lot. And I am just like I said, I'm saddened, I'm frustrated, like, it's just sick just to even think about those children, those little girls who have to endure trauma like rape, and depending on, you know, puberty and things, they conceive a baby and they gotta be put through that, especially those whose bodies is not developed to even go through that. Like, so many things can go wrong in that labor and delivery room. Like, I just, every day, like I said, I am a Christian and I believe in the power of God. And though things are happening, I have faith that there will be a turnaround. It gotta be, because this world is out of control. And to all of those who have an opinion or a comment on this, y'all can leave it in the comment section and let me know. I don't claim to be, nor do I know the ins and outs of all of this, but I do know that it's wrong, and there's got to be some changes. Also, you all, VH1 done said they are cutting ties with Caesar, better known as Caesar Emanuel of the VH1 original show Black Ink Crew New York. There was a viral video that was that just floating around the internet of Caesar abusing a dog, and one of his former castmates basically brought light to the situation and said that though it was viral, VH1 was allegedly protecting one of their employees, I guess. And so then, of course, once VH1 gets called out, they have to do something about it. And so they decided to cut ties with Caesar. Here recently, he has come out with an apology. Pretty sure he didn't think that it was going to get that deep. But we all know that here in America, you do something to them dogs or them animals in general, they coming for you, no matter who you are. They said that he was hitting the dog over the head, allegedly over the head with a chair, and there was another small dog that he allegedly threw around, which I don't really understand why people do cruel things to animals in the first place. It doesn't sit right with me. I guess they feel like they don't have feelings and emotions, which that's a whole lie. But I'm glad that they're doing something about it. I don't know what Caesar will be doing now that he will no longer be a part of Black Ink Crew, or VH1 fame. So hopefully he can just maintain, because that was a big old L that he just took. And let me know what y'all think about that. Do y'all think that they went overboard? Do y'all think that people was overreacting about it? I didn't particularly see the video. I'm not gonna watch the video, even if I see it floating around on the timelines, because like I said, I can't handle that type. Tonight was the R&B versus. I only watched a particular amount of it because it was so chaotic, y'all. When I tell y'all so chaotic, I was just like, what is going on? This was the bootleg version or the TV version of the Millennium Tour, the Scream Tour. All they was missing was Bow Wow and them. But it was a chaotic mess. But we all know that people was loving every single minute of it. And if you're not familiar with Versus, you all know that it was something that was brought up in 2020 during the pandemic, when we all had to stay in the house. Swiss Beats, Timbaland, they had producer Versus, just something to do. And all started on Instagram, and then it became a little bit bigger, and now it's this big concert thing. And everybody wants to give the props to Teddy Riley, because when it was his turn to do the verses, I can't remember who it was with, but he had this whole production, even though it didn't go the way that he hoped that it would, because again, it was still on Instagram. Now it has been turned into this big thing, and you can get tickets to it, and you can watch it live on Instagram and all this other stuff. And last night was one of the longest verses ever. We had a mini verses before the actual main event. So we had Ray J and Bobby Valentino versus Sammy and Pleasure P. Now, we all know that them guys are up in age, 30s and early 40s and late 30s, but they don't get their just due or their flowers as much as the bigger name R&B artists do. So I feel like that's the reason why they did this. Also, my guess is that Mario and Omarion have hits, but they don't have enough to go the hour or 2 hour, long verses head to head by themselves. So they had to break it down and bring in some more artists on their particular level. And thus we got the verses of the craziest verses of 2022 thus far. There was alcohol, I'm sure, and drugs in effect. But there was also no real good vocals, microphone issues, so they say, and just ego and testosterone and just going all over the place. I mean, from Ray J getting upset that Sammy sung his song, to Sammy, Pleasure P, and Bobby Valentino doing 3-part harmony to Ray J's song One Wish, because they was basically like, this dude can't sing his own song. He never was given his a lot of people don't feel like he can sing anyway. I mean, Sammy was going off right before he performed what was his hit back in the day? I Like. Now that was the jam, but he went off. I'm talking about, they don't give me my respect. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. I started this. Don't forget about this song. Don't forget about that song. I mean, he was really going in, and I feel like he'd been holding that in for a while. And then I was just like, okay, like, gosh, like, pump your rigs. Like, you're on the verses. We know. Like, otherwise you would be sitting at home. They said he got mad because Ray J was kind of trying to, like, big brother him and call him Lil Sammy. Basically try and throw shots and say, like, he ain't really about that life. He ain't really did much. But, I mean, besides Raycon and Love and Hip Hop, Ray J, what have you done? I mean, acting, but not like that. But I give Ray J his props too. And then they kept calling Ray J Brandy's brother. Then Ray J brought his kids up on the stage, or his son on the stage. I saw the clip where he was singing One Wish. His voice was through. I'm talking about like just hoarse. Like, what was going on? Like, and then doing all these runs. Pleasure P doing all these runs and out of breath. It was just so much. I mean, just like I said, so much yelling and like just too much. It reminded me of the episode of Martin when he came to the Varnell Hill show and Jodeci was performing, and Varnell told him that he was be able to, be interviewed on his show, but he just played him dust. So he ended up coming out during Jodeci's performance. He was like, ooh yeah, ooh yeah. He was going like head to head with with Casey. And I was just like, that's what it reminded me of. It was a bunch of ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Like, it was just too much. Then after a while, because like I said, the verses is only supposed to be like an hour, maybe hour and 30 minutes, depending on how it is, sometimes 2 hours. And I was just like, wait, they are going on long. Like, what is going on? They was bringing out dancers. They was just doing the most. And remind you, this is supposed to be the mini verses leading up to the majority of the night with Mario and Omarion. These brothers was late as heck. Everybody was like trying to figure out, okay, was this just a hoax? Are they really coming? Like, where are they at? And the host of last night's verses was D-Ray, the comedian, and he was trying his best to fill in, the gaps, fill in, the little, the weird awkward moments. But I mean, in his own comedic fashion, he was making fun of the fact that it was hectic and chaotic and just ghetto. I was on Instagram watching it last night, and Swiss Beats was like, fire everybody in the comments, and Timbaland was like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on? So who knows? Like, it was not supposed to go down like that, but when alcohol and black people and testosterone and ego and singing gets involved, it's all gonna go however it decides to go. So then finally, D-Ray stops the talking, and out comes Mario, who looked fine as ever. Out comes Omarion, who looked fine as ever. But I was like, they are in LA. Like, why do they have on these jackets and coats? But whatever. So they was giving the girls what they wanted to give the girls. Everybody was going crazy. And then after a while, I was like, I'm over it. So I cut it off. And when I woke up this morning, the things that I saw online had me in stitches. When I'm talking about, Marion had crumping. He had dancers behind him on stage. He was barely singing, but then I had to realize Omarion could never really sing. We was just, I saw somebody say that we was just horny teenagers that was just gone off of him and just, was used to mediocre singing. The only person out there through the mini verses and the regular verses that could actually blow to me was Mario and Sammy. Everybody else, cold mediocre. Even the guests that they try to bring out, like they brought out Jeremiah, they brought out Tank, and Tank always doing the extra with his head movements and stuff like that. So it was just too much R&B. I never thought that I would say that, but it was just way too much R&B for one night. And I mean, Mario did his thing. I know that he was on Instagram like poking fun at the situation and saying like he killed it and everybody else is weak. He even made a comment in the middle of something. I think it was Jeremiah singing, and he was like, you N-words sound crazy, basically like what everybody was thinking it, because they was trying to blame it on the microphones, but no, them boys' throats was dry, the notes was gone, then ran away, they was tired. I just, all I can say is they look good though. I ain't even gonna stun. They all look good, but it was just too much. I was getting secondhand embarrassment. I was just like, oh God, it brought me back to Freestyle Friday days. I could not. Like when the crowd wasn't feeling it, or when it was just too much going on and people was like, what the heck is happening? I quickly used to turn that channel, and that's exactly what I did last night, y'all. I saw that Omarion brought his brother Orion out there with his cute self. And then they turned it into a minstrel show, bringing out freaking watermelons. And like eating watermelon on stage as black men in front of a camera to entice the ladies is cornball century to me. Then he had his feet in the air. I just remember seeing an Air Force One just floating in the air. I was just like, oh, Omarion, like I feel like he was doing the most to take away from the fact that he can't sing. Doing yoga poses. Of course, when they first opened, they did his famous little dance moves that he did on that stage that went crazy on TikTok that everybody was mimicking. It was just so much. He was humping the microphone stand while laying down. It was just way too much. Like I said, way too much R&B for me. Like, way too much. And I don't know. That's gonna go down as the most chaotic and the most hilarious what the heck moment of the verses of all time. Did y'all watch it? Did I miss anything? I was just done by the middle of it. I was just done. And lastly, y'all, if y'all got Alexa, y'all know Alexa, that call her name and she do whatever you tell her to do. Apparently, y'all, they gonna make it to where it can change voices even more than it can do now. Instead of celebrities, it can change to whoever's voice you want it to be. So it could be your mama's voice, your daddy's voice, even a loved one's voice that done passed away. I don't know how I feel about that. It's just a little bit too invasive for me. And I feel like it can just be a breeding ground for like those people who can hack into stuff, just get into your stuff and like just say crazy things, or make you think that you're really talking to a computer but you're talking to a person. Like, I'm all for advancing in the technological world, but some stuff I feel like is just not needed. Google is enough for me. I don't have all of that. Heck, even when I got this new phone, just by me talking, sometimes a voice prompt pops up, and it just aggravates the heck out of me, because it's like, I'm not talking to you. Y'all already know too much. There's already a microphone that's already listening to everything that I'm saying, because how is it that I'm speaking to somebody about a certain thing and I hop on social media or hop on my phone and there's an ad for that specific thing? Like, this is too much. This is too much. So Amazon, Alexa, I don't know, like, what y'all gonna do? I don't really think that I want to constantly hear a loved one's voice that passed away talking to me through no machine. I would rather go and look at old videos and get that nostalgia and get that voice that way. You know what I mean? I don't know, it's just too much. But that was a little quickie that I wanted to throw in there. Thank y'all for watching another episode of What Y'all Talking About, where we talk about not so talked about and highly talked about things that's going on locally or around the world, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Peace.